Greetings, loves. This is Annette of AnnetteLeonard.com, back with Chronic Wellness. Thanks for joining me here. I am slowly climbing out of this pneumonia that has just eclipsed everything in my world right now. And I've taken the antibiotics and have suffered the consequences of all the overgrowth of yeast that causes, and haven't yet pulled out of the state of pneumonia. And so my doctors have now added like a 5-day bolus of high-dose prednisone, yours, mine, and everybody's favorite. And I'm spending just hours and hours on my own and in isolation, as is so often the case when our pain and illnesses take a turn and eclipse us. And I'm guessing that you have some familiarity with 22 hours in bed, isolation, sorrow, loneliness. And I just thought I'd take a minute to talk about how I cope with that. And I'm sure, like many of you, I have times where I go down little dark rabbit holes of trains of thought that really don't serve me. And I can get into really negative places in my mind about my quality of life, or what my life is worth, or how many resources I'm absorbing by just taking up space. Or what I'm missing out on, those kinds of things. But that's not mostly what I do anymore. I would say of recent, I've been doing a fair bit of escapism, just finding podcasts and audiobooks that are mindless or easy to follow, just kind of thoughtless brain candy, I guess. Anything that feels too hard or heavy is more weight than my soul can really bear. And so I acknowledge that that's some amount of just numbing out and just good old-fashioned escapism. And there are times when I am just nailed to the spot, where there is no place I can be really other than the very present moment I am in. And right now, so much of that, oftentimes for me it's pain that requires that. And right now for me, what's requiring that is breath. That this pneumonia, while my O2 sats, my oxygen saturation, is not often in the disastrous area, I'm not having to use oxygen full time, I am struggling to breathe. I feel this heaviness in my chest and this tightness in breathing that is so reminiscent of times when I haven't been able to breathe, that it starts to trigger in me this suffocation memory. And in that, I can start to really begin to feel anxious about oxygen and the next breath. And the cure for the pain, as Rumi says, is in the pain. The way through for me around that fear is to get really centered and very present, and to stop living in the past or projecting onto the future, but to just follow that breath and notice that it's happening. And follow the exhale and acknowledge that air is getting in and carbon dioxide is getting out, and that there's room for the next breath. And so I guess that's to say that all of these hours alone, I'm sort of vacillating between escaping and getting really present, and escaping and getting really present, and that the concerns of the broader world, what's happening in the Ukraine, for example, I'm not up to date on, and is bigger than my crumbling ability to hold things right now can really on board. And so there are some things like that, or things like knowing the minutia of what's happening in the lives of my friends and family that's just on hold until the urgency of this situation is past, until I can be out of bed for more than 20 minutes at a time, a couple of times a day. So those are just field notes from a very weary place. And I wonder how you cope when your energy and abilities are so limited. I wonder what the things are that buoy you or carry you through. Sound off. I'm always really grateful to hear from you. And if you haven't subscribed, or you know someone who needs this information, please forward this along. Until we're together again, I thank you for your time and attention, and be well.